Right, good evening everybody. Before we start this meeting, I'd like to just point out a few housekeeping things. There is no fire alarm practice planned for this evening, so if the alarm should sound in the building while we're in the meeting, please make your way out through one of the doors, either there or there, to the assembly point, which is at the rear of the garden. The agenda has been prepared and issued by the clerk. All agenda items must clearly state the business to be discussed to prevent any illegal decision being made. The control of the meeting is with the chairman, and he will use his gavel to maintain order during the meeting if necessary. The public session is 10 minutes duration, covering agenda items only. This brings the Sealand Sands Parish Council in line with other parish councils across the nation. After the public session is up, time is up, no further public interaction with the council will occur. If the public has not completed their presentation within the 10 minutes, they'll be asked to sit down and not continue. Only one speaker at a time, please. Please wait to be asked by the chairman before standing to speak. Polite discussion between adjacent councillors is acceptable. Please don't use raised voices as this can cause disruption to the meeting. The councillors may make 2 points on any item on the agenda. And you'll notice that some changes to how this parish council conducts its meetings is in order to follow our process and national guidelines. And we hope that the public will take heed of this tonight and at future parish council meetings. Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 1, apologies for absence. I have one apology for absence from Councillor Lynn Parrott, who is out of the country. Okay, right, I now adjourn the meeting for the public session. Does anybody have, from the public, have any questions or something they wish to raise on the agenda?
I would just like to question the procedure on one subject, and that is there was a meeting between the chairman and the clerk and Bill Bedell in October. And
Can I stop you there? That meeting is not on the agenda, it's not something we can
No, I'm not
discuss.
talking about the meeting, I want to talk about the procedure.
Okay.
So 4 months on, although I've been to 3 of the parish council meetings, I'm still not clear what the meeting was all about. And so, although I have asked questions, I haven't been given a brief or a proper reporting back. So I don't know whether this is normal procedure, but in the past, it has always been quite transparent when there was an issue. That's one thing. And the other issue I have with this is that at the last meeting we were told that the chairman is seeking legal advice. Again, I don't know what about, but in the past, when there is a bigger expenditure on financial issues, it's always brought up at the parish council meeting beforehand. 3 contractors are going to be asked for a quote, and then the parish council decide on the way forward. So, although I wasn't at one meeting, I read the minutes, and of the January meeting I wasn't there, but at no time could I see that this procedure was continued as it used to be. So my question is, how did you arrive at this legal advisor, bearing in mind that we've got in our parish 4 barristers and several solicitors who may have given you free advice if this would have been discussed at a meeting? So it's the procedure of the financial element and also the reporting back that I'm not clear about.
Okay, thank you. So I've got, how did we decide on the solicitor? And the financial decision on why, on the decision to go with that solicitor. Was that the question?
And I think the second question was in terms of procedure, in terms of the meeting that was held with Dell, why hasn't that been minuted and there's no record of it? That's the other point, isn't it?
Well, it has been minuted as a one sentence that,
But so this is the substance of the meeting.
yes, the details are not clear.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
What's the parish council going to do about those questions? Answering them, perhaps.
The parish council will respond in due course.
And when will
In
that
what
be?
way and when?
I don't have a date in mind at the moment. I need to research what I need to say.
Well, two things. Firstly, in terms of a reasonable time for an answer, in terms of abidance with financial procedures as set out in the standing order, that should be something that you're in a position to answer if money has been expended. The reason for saying that is because that decision would need to be ratified at any future meeting. That's what the existing procedural order says. So a decision must have been made. That should be coming to all councillors. Therefore, as chairman, you should be able to report to this meeting as to how that decision was taken. It's not a matter that needs to be researched, it's a matter within your knowledge. So I think we can break that down. Firstly, has legal advice been taken today? Yes or no?
Point of order.
No, it's a yes
No,
or
it's
no,
a yes or
isn't
no.
it?
It's not on the agenda.
Yes, it is, because we're talking about, if I can take the council's mind to it, item 8, standing orders. Now, if we're not abiding by our previous standing orders, we need to have some clarity as a village and as parishioners as to what steps are going to be taken with new standing orders, particularly in circumstances where those amendments to the standing orders have not been circulated for our consideration. So at the moment, all we have by way of standing order is what exists, because you have not circulated the update. So, if you aren't prepared to answer those questions, which is disappointing in terms of, if we look at number 11, transparency code for smaller authorities, but if you're not prepared to answer it, I would ask the clerk to minute those questions specifically for next Monday's meeting. But in terms of a council that wants to move forward, in terms of a council that believes it should be abiding by its transparency code regulations and obligations, the refusal to answer a simple yes or no question as to whether legal advice has been taken is, I think we all agree, disappointing. Yeah?
I didn't say legal advice hadn't been taken.
No, you didn't say that it had. I think we would all find it very helpful, Mr. Chairman, if you could answer a simple yes or no question, one way or the other.
Yes, legal advice has been taken. I think I've stated that in previous meetings.
And in terms of then the question that follows from Ms. Johnson's question is, was the financial procedures gone through in terms of deciding who should be providing that legal advice?
Yes, for the best efficient method.
Point of order. We're here to discuss the new standing orders, financial regulations and code of conduct. We're not here to discuss anything else other than what's on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I don't object to that point of order being raised, but I would like it to be minuted, please, that it was raised in response to a refusal to answer straightforward yes or no questions, which is an experience I had last time we met. And I would like that minuted specifically, please.
Why is it so complicated? Is this a confidential issue? Why can't you just tell us who the lawyer is you are choosing, why you have chosen somebody outside, what the costs are involved? Because the parish has a right to know. This is parish money you are spending. I cannot understand how you can just say this is not on the procedure. This is where you failed procedure, and I'm saying this is wrong.
I can't answer. I'm not. We will end up in a debate which is not suitable for this meeting, where we're trying to agree our regulations and our processes for the parish council.
But how can you agree to what you are going to do when I'm saying I think you may have failed before? So how can you move on? Is this going to be the way the future goes, that you are doing everything in secret, spending parish money without us knowing? Well, this is what happened, isn't it? Let's be very honest. You have incurred costs which we don't know anything about.
You do.
You look at the code of conduct. I went through this several times, and you are supposed to ask and be open to the public when spending money, and you have to be very careful that you are not using money carelessly. And so, bearing in mind, we've got 4 barristers in our parish and several solicitors, some of them who specialise in this topic, and you've gone outside to another solicitor. I would like to know who recommended him or her and why you've done that. And this is a very normal question to ask the parish council. What made you choose this way? You can't progress with anything on the agenda going forward on your financial procedure without rectifying whether this was a breach of procedure beforehand and how you are going to progress in the future.
If you'd like to bring up a breach of procedure, can you please put
No,
that?
I don't. I'm asking you for an answer so that I don't need to bring it up.
I think we'll put this in writing. But just before we get to the end of it, in terms of standing item number 8 on the agenda, item number 9 on the agenda, item number 10 on the agenda, item number 11 on the agenda, where are the drafts that are going to be submitted for approval? Because if you want us to consider something on the agenda, you need to disclose those documents to the village so we can consider them to address you. And they've not been made available despite requests of what the draft amendments are. So where are they?
They have been circulated to all parish councillors before the meeting.
But those, would you accept, Chairman, that if they are relevant documents for a parish meeting, they are associated documents that should have been published on the website in accordance with the code of conduct and in accordance with good practice? They shouldn't be kept secret, should they?
They're not secret documents. They are documents that are, and we're moving on outside the realm of this meeting again.
No, I'm strictly speaking about, I'm sorry, point of order for me. 8, 9, 10 and 11 are to adopt documents.
You can't raise a point of order.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said you can't raise a point of order.
No, but I can make a point of clarification if that would suit you better, Mr. Butcher.
That'd be better.
Point 8, 9, 10 and 11 is to adopt certain documents. Those documents have not been provided to the parishioners. Mr. Butcher has made the point that we can only comment on points of the agenda. If we're not being provided with the documents, and I lack a crystal ball, how are we supposed to make informed comments to you? Please explain why those documents were not published 3 clear days prior to this meeting.
Not the proposals, no.
Okay, you can take that away as a question.
Why does it need to be taken away? You must know the answer. Because I asked for them over a week ago. And you copied it on an email on Friday when I asked them to be provided immediately so we'd be in a position to address them on Monday. Why were they not circulated? Because they were circulated to the parish councillors.
Yes.
Why were they not circulated or published, as they should have been, to the members of the parish to consider them at this meeting.
I will reply to you in due course.
As the chairman is unable to reply to any of these pertinent questions, can I suggest this meeting be adjourned until we can?
Yes.
Anyone in favour?
Because this village cannot deal with the
Yeah,
items
10
on the
minutes.
agenda 8, 9, 10
10
and
minutes.
11 without knowledge of what's being proposed.
We've reached our 10-minute point.
Anyone against that
That's a resolution.
proposition?
I beg your pardon?
No. So what are you going to do, Mr. Chairman?
This room is asking you to adjourn so we can see the documents.
I find it very disappointing that we are where we are.
So do we.
Mr. Chairman, can I say something?
Certainly.
I think it's quite obvious there's been a mistake. You know, I'm sitting here as a councillor and I thought some of these documents had been sent out on a wider basis before this evening. And so I wouldn't necessarily disagree for adjourning and making sure that everybody had the proposed documents, because the essence of why we're all sat here is not to hide anything, it's to be transparent, to be part of the community.
Yeah.
And that has always been the case, but we're putting a lot of effort in to make sure that we're up to date with everything that needs to be done. And these documents do need to be considered by everybody, because you've all got to be happy with them. So, and then under that understanding that there's nothing to hide and there's all totally transparent. And I've seen the documents because they were emailed to me as a councillor. It was my understanding that they would go out to the general public. That might be an incorrect understanding, but if that's the proposed documents, if they need to be seen, then we should do that and maybe adjourn and move on.
Could they not be put on the web?
They should, I think that's the intention, that public or agenda packs should always be published through 10 days, and publication on the web for tech-savvy chaps like you is obviously the way to go.
Well, I think a genuine mistake has been made on that basis, because that was my thought process. But I don't know what the next step is to do that.
Well, in terms of procedure, it's a simple resolution to adjourn the meeting.
I don't think it's a case of these documents. These documents are for the council to decide.
Having heard comments from the parish, that's why you did the meeting at the beginning. I fully accept this, a mistake may have been made, but given the spirit of the meeting, the sensible, proactive, kind, sensible thing to do is to adjourn the meeting so that everyone feels that the process is being followed. There is a council meeting, item 14 on the 17th. That could be made this meeting and the meeting fixed 7 days after for the full council meeting. That would be a sensible, proactive, inclusive way of doing things. And I can't see that any prejudice would be suffered in so doing, bearing in mind that that's the will of the whole room.
I have never come across a point in my years as parish councillor where the public has taken over the meeting and called for an adjournment. And I honestly have never had this before, so I don't know how to proceed. I don't know where I can go for advice, either within or outside of the council. Has anybody within the parish council, since the public session has now ceased, beyond its time, has anybody in the parish council got any suggestions of how I should proceed?
Well, you are the chairman, and you have the say of the meeting. The meeting is led by you. As you say, public participation has ended. The proposed documents are all available online.
No, they're not.
There was nothing.
That's
No,
a lie.
so, excuse me, this is parish council meeting.
There was nothing. There's nothing that was hidden. The documents are available online. They could all have been found. They're all based on model documents. I believe we were going to go through any of the changes to the model documents, to the ones that we're proposing, and I still see that as being a valid point.
Chair, if that's the
Excuse me.
then I have no interest in remaining in this farce any longer.
I don't see how the order on the agenda can be any different to what we proposed. We're not going to change anything by adjourning it. The decision on these documents rests with the councillors. So I suggest we continue with it and go through them as we suggested.
The documents have been produced using the guidelines from National and Local Government Association documents. We have amended them where those documents have identified sessional areas that can be adapted or for various parish councils. That's what we've done. We've made changes to the documents where they're recommended that changes are added to those documents. My suggestion is that we continue and we go through these documents and review and either adopt or not adopt as decided during the meeting. They will then be published on the website as adopted documents. They can then be reviewed and looked at by anybody, and they could be brought up in a future meeting for amendment or change as is felt necessary. Is that a sensible way forward?
I think so.
Is my understanding of the procedure for today.
Well, I've said what I think, and if that is the procedure and I'm wrong, then we go by the procedure. But I think half the battle of changing any kind of proposals is you need to make sure, maybe at the point of change or point of proposal, that people have seen them from a point of view of understanding on why they're being changed in the first place, rather than. But if I'm wrong about that procedurally, which I don't know, then I stand corrected. But I come back to what my previous comment was.
I honestly don't know where to go from here. I honestly don't know.
Well, should we clarify what Andrew is saying before we proceed then?
Ian, isn't the whole point of a parish council that we all work together? Here you are sitting there wanting to ostracise yourself from us. We are meant to work together. This can't be the way forward.
Ian, I think you need to take some legal advice before you decide to make a decision to push this forward, I really do.
Your current draft standing on item 10,
point of order, Chairman.
do not require a
It's,
I make a proposal
It's a
for motion
public,
to adjourn.
public are allowed in the meeting and not beyond public participation. We're not going to get anywhere if we fall into this debate again.
It's not a debate though, Jason.
I made a motion that requires a view. Item 10, the following motions may be moved at a meeting without written notice to the officer to adjourn the meeting. Now that is it. You asked.
That's for
your
councillors,
powers.
isn't it? It's not for the public.
No, it's please with your code of conduct, I understand, Mr. Butcher. You have the power to adjourn a meeting. It is being suggested that it would be in the interests of the council to do so, with no prejudice to the council. It's a simple mistake that's been made and it can be rectified by an adjournment.
Can I just ask, what happens if he doesn't adjourn today?
If he goes on today without it, then it will be a disciplinary complaint for not voting on motion. At the least. Whereas an adjournment would obviously get rid of that.
I'll adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a question, being first time I've been here, so. All these documents presumably are based on some sort of template.
Can I just say the meeting's
Yeah.
closed?
Yeah, but I want to
Thank
ask
you.
a question. These documents are all based on a template that is somewhere as how council meetings should go.
Yes.
Why are the public concerned about how these documents are modified they're standard procedures?
Because
I don't know, Jane. These are standard documents that are
Exactly.
provided by the National Association of Local Councils, the Local Government Association, and they put in there sections which are bracketed in various ways.
And you've
Fill in the blanks,
Yes.
make your changes,
Yeah.
whether you want your finance done in October or November or January, or you want
That's what I would have
10
expected.
minutes for a public session, or
Hmm.
25 minutes, and those are the items that we have changed in those documents.
So I don't see what the public's got to do with it.
Because
No, they don't. Jane, in the code of conduct,
Can you just repeat what you just said?
I said they don't.
We've got nothing to do with it.
You don't have anything to do with us talking and ratifying this document.
But in terms of expressing a view on the draft, we have the right to do that, don't we?
But the templates are the templates.
The draft.
I think,
Yeah.
Jane, I think this is for next week if you want to do that.
No, Jane, I think the code of conduct actually is exactly this. I believe it to be exactly the same code of conduct that we have already. The one thing we've changed is the amount of time for public participation in the old document was 10 minutes, allowing one person to speak for 10 minutes. We've actually changed that to 15 minutes, allowing 5 people 3 minutes each.
Yeah.
So we've actually improved, I would say, the standing orders. The financial regulations, that's changed only because I think the actual template document has changed considerably because of updates to financial regulations. I believe all of the suggestions for changes are what we took, And with the clerk's suggestion on there are dates at which you have to do reporting, I believe the clerk has suggested what those dates should be. So the financial ones, whilst it is different to the last set of regs, it's only taking on what is under the template and using what the clerk has suggested
So
as.
the documents are the templates which have had the necessary changes, not changes, the necessary insertions
Yes,
to apply to this meeting.
exactly.
Okay.
And then the code of conduct is quite considerably different because the LGAs, that's the Local Government Association, they updated their code of conduct. Yeah, and now so we are adopting that code of conduct. And in fact, is there any changes in the code of conduct? There isn't, is there?
Well, we would
I don't think there is. I can't remember any. Check.
But I don't think there are. We're not changing anything that
I just don't
isn't.
understand what the argument is.
This was trying to set
I know what it was supposed to be.
the foundation for